All right, guys, in this video here, I wanted to do a little presentation. I'm going to go ahead and go into full screen here for you guys on paid versus organic traffic and the benefits of both and when to use them. Because gym owners, a lot of gym owners we work with, when they start with us, they don't know what they should put their energy into, if they should be like running paid ads to generate a whole bunch of leads, or should they be focused more on the organic stuff like building up the reputation, improving their search results in places where people are searching for things like fitness, getting more word of mouth, running more like bring a friend type campaigns. These are all organic things. Now, when we talk about getting traffic, what we're talking about there is like people finding you, right? And if you have a good lead generation system like you have with big little gyms that converts a high rate of the traffic, really that becomes the focus, is like just getting traffic to that system, because the system itself, like that generates leads, is separate from where you get your traffic from, right? So when we talk about traffic, there's really three different types of traffic. There's traffic you own, traffic you earn, and traffic you buy, right? Traffic you own and earn falls under the organic window here. And then traffic you buy is paid traffic. Now, people like marketers and people that don't understand this, I guess in a broader sense, think that it's one or the other, but it's actually not one or the other. It's kind of like both, right? And when to use the right one. And I want to talk about that because it's a really common conversation we have with gym owners in our program about like when to use the right one as far as effectiveness goes. So this first slide that I have here, you can see like paid versus organic. For paid here, we have the rabbit, and it works fast, right? So it's something that like when you run ads on, say, Facebook, for example, with gyms right now, like we test all the different platforms, and for the most part, the demographic that most gyms are drawing clients from are still most largely effective on Facebook. We've run ads on Instagram, TikTok, like millions of dollars of ads, tested a lot. And really like the Facebook feed is still the best place to run ads for gyms as of this recording. There's always something new and we're always trying different things. But, these ads, they're typically hard hits. They work very fast in the first like 1 to 2 weeks, out to about 3 or 4 weeks, and they begin to taper off in their effectiveness over that period of time. And then you have your organic, which is a turtle over here, and it builds slow over time. And this is things like, getting found more in local search results where people are searching for what you're selling. Ideally the best leads are going to be people that are typing in things that you're searching, that they're searching for and looking for a provider, right? If I'm a homeowner and I'm looking for a plumber or an electrician, I'm going to type in, I'm generally like the first thing I'm going to do without really thinking about it, I'm going to pull my phone out and I'm going to type in plumber near me, electrician near me. If I'm looking for a new pizza place, I'm going to type in best pizza in area, right? And it's really no different for gyms. For gyms and for all local service-based businesses, intent-based search is the best place to get leads, because those leads are searching for what you're selling. They are already warm. They're doing research. They're looking around. They want to find the best option. Whereas paid traffic through things like social media, they're not necessarily looking for leads when they get on the platform, right? They're not looking for a gym when they get on the platform. They're usually getting on Facebook to look at pictures of dogs and babies and what's going on in the world and all that stuff, right? They're just there to kind of like poke around and do whatever, right? They're usually not there to focus on self-improvement, right? So that being said, there's people on Facebook at all times that are thinking about it, and they just happen to see our ad, and our ad interrupts them while they're on Facebook. And some of those people take the bait and they come in. And the cool thing about Facebook is you could spend a decent budget. Facebook works in very short windows, so it doesn't make sense to spend a little bit over a long period of time. It generally doesn't work well that way. It's better to spend a decent amount of money in a shorter period of time, and you're going to get a lot of results in a very, very short period of time. Usually like the first 1 to 2 weeks, it hits very hard, then it tapers off, and then you got to turn it off. Otherwise, you'll just start burning cash faster than you're bringing in new members. So it's best to run these in a cycle in like 2 to 3 week blasts. Organic built slowly, right? So like this is the work of it. This is, like I said before, reviews, word of mouth, search engine, these things where like people are telling their friends about you in conversation, very, very warm leads. But you can't just open a business and like expect that everybody's going to start telling everybody about you. You don't have that goodwill built with people. You don't have that trust built with you. You don't have that reputation built. The search engines like Google, they don't just put a brand new business at the top of Google. It takes a lot of work. Well, it doesn't take a lot of work. It takes good, consistent work and some time on the platform for them to rank you better, because you have to earn Google's trust, because Google and these other search engines, their job is to be the most trustworthy source for information. And so they're not going to refer traffic to you if you just open and they don't know if you're good yet. So you have to do things to prove to Google your worthiness. And that takes time, right? So that's effectiveness. Now, how much work, right? So paid traffic over here on the left side, you're sprinting, short, intense sprints with big gaps in between. And then organic over here on the right side, it's a little more like casual. Like you're just doing a little bit every day in your output. So, with organic, you're posting on social media regularly, you're tagging your members, you're doing all these things to make sure you're being seen and that your members are being seen. You're reminding your friends to leave reviews, or your members to leave reviews. You're reminding your members to let their friends know. You're running campaigns for these things occasionally, like through text message and email marketing, and making mention of these things at your gym, and kind of creating a culture in your gym of like, hey, tell your friends, this is a place of growth, and we want you to bring your friends. And that takes, that's not as much work. You're just doing it regularly all the time. It's just mentioning these things. It's just little jabs, right? Little jabs that add up. And it ebbs and flows in regards to like what you get back from it, right? Like generally you're going to continually go up, but it's going to kind of do like this as it goes up. Whereas like paid traffic on the left side here has big gaps on this, up and down, right? When you run a campaign, it goes up, and then when you turn it off, your traffic's basically going to shut off. It's like turning on a faucet and then turning it off and turning it on and turning it off. And as you go, those waves are going to be less intense, right? Okay. Now economics. These are the economics of paid versus organic, right? This graph here. Now, paid, as you can see, it's the dotted line here, and it pretty much, when you run that first campaign, it's going to run really strong usually for most gyms. And as you go over time, ultimately, like ads are like, they're always going to get more expensive, and the lead quality is always going to go down over time. And the reason why is because like as you run ads more and more, you saturate your market is one thing that happens. Two, more competition. If it works in your market, more competition will find out about it. That's just business. That's what happens in a free market, is that if something works, if you find it first, you have that luxury for a while. You have first mover advantage, and then someone else is going to move in, and someone else is going to move in. And the way that like running paid traffic works is it's all an auction. You're basically bidding. The more competition there is, the more Facebook charges for you to be in the mix, right? So that Facebook, that works out really, really well, because when it's just one person, the cost is very low because it's not as competitive. But as it goes up, it's more people paying more money. So that's how they make money in these really competitive fields like fitness, right? And as it goes out, at first when you're doing it, the prices are the best. You're going to get your best cost per lead, your best cost per result, and then it's going to go down over time, ultimately heading to zero over a long enough time horizon. Now, organic is like the gift that keeps giving. It's like compounding returns, right? So as word of mouth picks up, as reputation picks up, as your organic placements all over the internet and around town where you have things that you're being seen, as those things take hold over time, more and more people hear about you. That volume increases over time, and really organic is like compound. It's like a compounding interest-bearing account, that just keeps giving like at a fixed rate, right? That's what organic is. Whereas like paid traffic is more like, whatever new thing comes on the scene investment-wise that has a big hit at the beginning, like a big blue chip stock just got an IPO and it booms, and then all of a sudden it just kind of levels out and finds like a homeostasis, and ultimately sometimes has to zero if the business is kind of hyped, right? So paid is more of the hype, and organic's more of like the fixed interest rate return account, So it's the economics there. Now here's like your outputs versus results. So with paid, what's going to happen ultimately is, if you continue to lean on paid, and if you continue to make it a consistent part of your strategy and you don't get organic going, this is what happens with paid over here on the left side. Ultimately, paid has these like waves, and the frequency is diminishing of the wave, or the intensity of the wave is diminishing, and there's these big troughs and gaps in between with your growth. And meanwhile, energy output is going up because you have to actually do more work to get less results with paid traffic, because ultimately lead quality is going to dip, lead volume is going to dip, cost per lead is going to rise. And in order to fight that back, you're having to work harder to get the same results, because a lower quality lead that has more competition vying for its business is going to require more follow-up and a more intensive sales approach to basically convince them that you're the one that they should do business with. And on the right side here, you have organic traffic, which has energy output completely inverted. You can see that like the time and energy here for organic is pretty consistent, and if anything, dips off over time. With organic, if you're consistently doing all the things that you need to do to get organic things to work over time, you can miss entire weeks where you don't do it. And like for the most part, traffic is going to continue to do this. You would have to stop for a long period of time or do something that would affect your reputation negatively or any of these organic sources negatively in order for it to disrupt the growth. And this is generally what we see from the gyms that have the most success over the longest time horizon. Your 8, 9, 10, 12, 15-year-old gyms that just perennially grow. And there are little ebbs and flows in the seasons and all that, but generally if you look at their chart, it's this like pretty like linear, somewhat parabolic growth trend. And it typically goes something like this, where like early on they started with ads and then they came off of ads and their organic stuff picked up. And they just continually do the things organically that keep this engine going, right? Now, next tab here. This is traffic dependency. And this is really like what you should be kind of like if you're a new gym or you're a gym that's struggling, or if you're a gym that's been established but you've never really done any advertising, which is pretty much almost like being a new business. Like this is kind of what it should look like over time, right? Like if you're just starting out and you're like, I don't have leads, I don't have traffic, no one knows about me, I'm ranked 20th on Google, so people aren't finding me there. I don't really have many followers on social media, so no one's following me there. I don't have a lot of clients, so there's not a lot of word of mouth. You're kind of down here with the organic. The black line here is organic. You're kind of down here, right? So like you can't generate leads if you don't have traffic. You don't have anything pouring into the top of your funnel for the system to convert, right? So you need to get traffic into that system, right? So you need to go out and get it. And that's where paid traffic comes in. That's where like buying traffic comes in. When we go back to talking about the three different types of traffic you own, traffic you earn, and traffic you buy. Traffic you buy is something that's great for closing this gap, in the first year or two for a business and generating traffic. Now over that year, you're going to have that up and down type of intensity as you do it. But the goal is in between to improve your fulfillment systems to decrease your churn rate and increase your retention with your clients, because retention is something that really seems to be like a big part of it with the different traffic sources. If we were to go back here, I don't think I have that yet. Here we pull up this other slide here real quick that we got. So let's close that out and let's open this up. So we have retention is one of these right here. Let me just grab it real quick. Economics. Maybe we didn't save that one, I'm guessing. Yeah, so retention, what tends to happen with traffic that comes off of paid is the churn rates are higher. The retention rates are lower, right? What that means is like when you run paid ads, you're typically running ads for offers that are like, what we call like an irresistible offer, like offers that are more focused on like quicker wins, because that's what people react the fastest to, right? Like people are generally they want the quick win, right? So when you're running ads on Facebook to someone who's not searching for what you're selling, with an offer that's very compelling, you're going to bring someone in, at least a percentage of the leads you're going to have, a much higher percentage of leads you're going to get, and the members you're going to sign off of that are going to be people that really just want a quick fix, and they're not as committed. It's kind of one of those things where it's like the longer the runway, the bigger plane you land. So with leads that come in from paid, it's a very, very short runway to get that lead. So that you're landing very small planes and a lot of them, and not all of them are going to make the landing, right? Whereas like with organic, you're generally in front of how you're finding your organic traffic is coming off of like a much bigger runway, right? These people are, again, searching on Google for what you're selling. You're showing up at the top because of your reputation and reviews. You've been around a long time and you've earned that top position. You're getting word of mouth from a lot of members. You're doing a good job giving your clients very clear instructions on how to refer people back to you and when they should, and doing different things that compel them to want to bring their friends into the gym. And these things are long runways because these are conversations that are going on with your members and their friends. They're probably spending weeks talking to them. It's probably multiple times their friend has mentioned trying a new gym, because we all know how it is. Like you find a new thing and you try to tell your friends about it, and like they don't buy right away. They don't say, oh yeah, I'm going to do that thing. They're kind of like skeptical. Like it's funny, like the law of proximity comes into it, where it's like they're far less likely to refer their friends because they know their friends so well, and they almost like don't want to endorse what their friends are doing, or it's just like it's a proximity. It's too easy, right? So like they need a minute to process that. They're going to have another conversation next time they meet the next week. Maybe they go do some research on you. They end up on Google looking at all your reviews, and then they end up going through your website and you generate that lead, right? That person, when they show up, very, very high close rate. Like that lead there, you're going to probably close 9 out of 10 of those people because they're going to have a good idea of what it costs. They know their friend and they know their friend's budget. And it's just, and like there's social pressure there to sign up and join. There's just like so many reasons why that bigger runway with organic has a much better lead quality versus like the short runway landing the smaller planes with the paid traffic, right? So what that results in is, say you're running ads for a 6-week challenge, on Facebook, which is a classic campaign by now that a lot of gyms have run over the last few years. And it still works to this day in regards to bringing in people in the door and generating revenue on the front end. You can see a 5, 6, 7x return on your ad spend to bring those leads in. The issue becomes is, you have to work very hard during those 6 weeks to run the challenge, help these people with their nutrition, offer the classes, do all the other things that are a part of it. So you do generate a lot of revenue, but there's a lot of work. And then on the back side of that 6-week challenge, the keep rate on those for most gyms, and this really depends on your ability to sell and retain people, because we used to run offers like this at our gym and we would keep 70-80% of our people, but that's almost unheard of for most gyms. But we also had layers of people getting touch points with our members, and also might have just been our market too. You know what I mean? It was what we were doing in a combination with our market, but there's a lot of very good markets where they can't convert those people, because ultimately your goal should be to change that person's mindset from a short, quick win type of mentality to a one where they want to stay. But that can be hard with someone's coming on an offer where the intention from the very get-go was a quick win, right? So you just get more churn with those, right? So that's really the difference between organic and paid, when to use them, what the outcomes are going to be, and what to expect. It's all about setting expectations that with paid ads, it's definitely much shorter, quicker wins, right? You're going to get people in the door now. You're going to get the opportunity to try to prove to them why they should stay. You're going to get their money, and you're going to get volume in a very short period of time. But you do have to spend money. You do have to spend more energy. And you have to spend more time. And you're going to be, at the end of every campaign, pretty exhausted. Most gym owners that we talk to that run paid ads at the end of a 3 or 4 week campaign, they're ready to give it a break for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. And then they ramp it up again. By the time they do the third one, they start realizing they're having to do more work to get the same result, based on, what we're talking about here, with kind of the frequency of things. They're kind of worn out after they've run 3 or 4 campaigns, and they tend to kind of want to focus on other things. And that's why it's very, very important that if you decide to use paid traffic to close the gap here, to close the gap on, the traffic dependency here, that you be very consistent in working on your organic stuff, and that includes, things like search engine optimization and things like, having all your stuff dialed in so you rank well on the different places where people are searching for things, being consistent about your content on social media platforms, doing that at a very high level, not just posting random pictures of people working out, but doing different things that kind of follow the ethos, pathos, logos model of content production, and informing, entertaining, and educating people on what you do, and tagging your members, and having your members make posts about and checking it at your gym. This stuff takes work in and of itself, and it's just consistent work every day. As you do that, those things will add up. That was what happened to us for both of our gyms. Both gyms for years 1, 2, and 3 were very dependent on paid traffic, but then we were very consistent about our all those strategies on the organic side, and things started picking up to the point where we eventually just turned ads off. By year 2.5, year 2, we had ads completely turned off, and we had enough organic traffic coming in from all these different traffic sources that we had earned positioning from, that we were signing 15, 20 members a month without having to run paid ads. And that was great because those people came in, the close rates were higher, and they stayed longer. And this is how this compounding returns, building that snowball, building that compounding bank account is really the way the best businesses are built, right? All big businesses run paid traffic. Big business like Apple runs ads and things like that, but they would still be a multi-billion-dollar company just on their organic traffic alone at this point, because most people buy Apple because their friends have it. Most people buy it because they buy an iPhone and the product's so good that they're like, okay, I want to buy a MacBook now, right? The product speaks for itself, and that's really what good organic is based on, is product, and then making sure that that's getting out there. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you found it helpful, give a little click wherever you find this video at. If you're a client, virtual high five to you. If you're not, go to biglittlegyms.com and be sure to fill out the form, book a discovery call, meet with me. I'll show you what we do and how we basically systemize this entire process for you.